So today we're talking about a parallel between the Mighty Ducks, the movie, and a way to add one product to your selling pipeline to ideally add an extra $1 million potential to your sale pipeline. Sale product selling process. Welcome to the news. Stay to the end to find out how they intermingle. So yeah, what's good? Today, everybody, we're getting into the thought process regarding the Mighty Ducks and adding one unique product to your product process to be able to try to surpass and develop an ideation of a grass is greener on the other side depiction to actually try to reach the grass, if you will, but by painting a bridge to that grass in essence. And it's similar to a Wayne Gretzky example in terms of hockey, in terms of the concept regarding something he said, which is a famous saying, which is that you are not able to score any goals regarding 100% of the shots that you do not take. So in other words, if you don't take shots or try, that you don't necessarily have the ability to score goals. But there's one caveat to that corresponding to today's episode, which relates to the Mighty Ducks, which is a movie that corresponds to kids playing hockey, and there's a side to the movie where they almost can't play hockey and they almost can't become the Mighty Ducks in the beginning because they don't have the equipment, they don't have the gear. And that's one of the elements to today's little show or little recording that relates to the Mighty Ducks and Wayne Gretzky's concept regarding the essence of playing the game to be able to take the shots, to be able to score the goals. The caveat or the little beginning or the little precursor is a pre-product in essence. That's the product that we're talking about selling to add the potential of $1 million in essence, is that almost like it's not a fear of missing out, it's an actual missing out, because in essence you don't have the gear. If you don't have the gear, you can't play the game. So if Wayne Gretzky didn't have a stick, if Wayne Gretzky didn't have a helmet, if Wayne Gretzky didn't have shoulder pads, he couldn't take the shots. He couldn't actually go on down the ice, as well as if he didn't have skates, and he couldn't take any shots at all, period, because he didn't have the ability to play the game, period. So that's how we're trying to frame the precursor as a pre-product, if you will. It's called a product for prospects. A product for prospects for today's little recording episode, that we're trying to talk about that parallel between the Mighty Ducks, where in essence they almost didn't have the opportunity to play at all, but they got someone to come through for them to be able to build a process, to be able to get the bridge for them to actually reach the grass that is greener on the other side. And that is something that's conceptual. That's like a free visualizer of a product. It's called a product for prospects, to be able to paint the picture, to be able to develop the concept that in essence, that without the gear, without the ability to have the elements to be able to play the game of ice hockey, that there is no ice hockey. And that's the picture that we're trying to paint by developing something of like an assessment. An assessment, for example. An assessment that can be an experience at the same time. Well, it's also known as a workshop. A workshop is another product for prospects, so to speak, for when people get leads on the internet. A product for prospects can be like a workshop or a mini course, for example, but we're trying to combine the two things of an assessment and an experience at the same time so that people get the visualizer. It's like a collaboration. This is the product that you're giving to be able to get people into the zone, into the game, without even necessarily stepping foot onto the ice, which is the core product. That's in essence the core product, is the game itself. Getting to play the game, that's the assessment. That's the assessment, which is the product, the visualizer. And it's also something I've called estimates a few times before now, as like a product that we're trying to more or less encase in the form of like an application. I called it a template, an application template, which is like a storyboard child book visualizer, basically. Like trying to simplify and just bring it down to simplification level. Like if you were talking to a child talking about how to play ice hockey, basically you would walk them up to the ice rink and you would say, look, you need to look around the ice rink. You see all the people skating, doesn't it look like they're having fun? These are the equipment pieces that you need, and you give them the list of equipment. You don't have to give them a list, you can just show them the equipment pieces. You can take them into the pro shop and then they can smell the ice rink, they can get the experience, and this is the visualizer, this is the product for prospects, more or less. And so that concept of getting that ideation, that conceptual connection to begin with, is like a collaboration. It's like a collaboration because you're having them sit in the front seat of your car. Basically, it's like a digital metaphysical car, and you're driving them around the ice rink in this metaphysical conceptualization. You're trying to create an experience. And at the same time, you're trying to test whether they're ready. At the same time, you're painting the path. You're painting the steps to be able to get to where they want to go. You're painting the path from where they are now to where they want to be. And that path is also clearing. That path is also a bridge that is made of steps. That steps consistently, swiftly, nicely, smoothly, and methodically over the middle, which is the obstacle. Just like any bridge, for example, if you're building a bridge over water, that is the obstacle for the cars to get over that bridge. So methodically, just like walking a kid through an ice rink, they get the experience. If you are giving them a tour of that ice rink, then they are going to have the residual effect of the visualization that you're painting them the picture of, basically, as they walk through the ice rink with you. If this is your business, then in essence, if we're regarding that, then this is the experience that you want to paint. It's you want to combine an experience, and you want to combine an assessment at the same time. You want to develop an assessment, constantly checking in with them, asking them questions. Do you think this is for you? Do you think this is something that you're up for, in essence? Because in essence, the whole purpose of your product, your service, your process, your ideation of a resolution of a problem-solving mechanism, mechanic that you can offer any given conceptual potential clients or clientele or consumers of your goods or services, is the ability to walk over this bridge to go from where they are now to where they want to be, in essence. So more or less, it's relevant, it's necessary, it's a necessity to have this collaboration and experience with you, where you drive them over this bridge that is completely run by you. This bridge is owned by you. You not only built the bridge, but you own the bridge, you own the land on both sides, so only you decide who gets to cross over this bridge. So that's why you're trying to very carefully and conceptually, once you are connecting with your prospects, conceptual prospects that you have vetted through a prospecting system, that you're giving this product to your prospects as like a gift, while it's at the same time like an experience, and at the same time it's like an assessment. Because ultimately what you want to do once you're done with the tour, being a tour guide basically with this product for prospects, be giving them this experience more or less for free, is at the end of it, as you're asking them questions to be able to try to get an ideation, basically if they're ready to jump on the ice, if they're ready to go in for their first lesson, like in the Mighty Ducks. All the kids didn't necessarily know how to play hockey before, in the end of the movie of the Mighty Ducks, that they ended up winning a significant battle, a significant game, ice hockey game that led them on to the Mighty Ducks 2 movie, the second movie of the Mighty Ducks. So the bottom line, though, is that these kids started in the same seat that we're talking about now, the product for prospects. They wanted to play the game of hockey, but they didn't know how. They didn't have the chance to take shots like Wayne Gretzky, because they did not have the process aligned. They did not have the tools necessary, and that is what you're trying to develop as well, is a necessity for people to understand that they need the tools to play the game. And you're trying to hype up the game. You're trying to take them around a little tour and give them a little tour to be able to show them the game, and it helped them to understand that all you're trying to do is paint the picture so that they have the tools so that they themselves can play the game, which basically themselves allows themselves to build their own bridge and become a player, to build their own bridge from where they are now to where they want to be. Just like in the Mighty Ducks movie, where they were to begin with, in the beginning, was they wanted to play the game of hockey to try to maybe have a chance to take shots like Wayne Gretzky, but they couldn't even do that because they didn't have the right tools. And then eventually, because they took the shots, because they eventually had the tools, they were able to win and score some goals and win some games. And so the first ideation, the first connection, the first product for prospects, the product for prospects, if you will, is meant to develop the ideation, the construct, the mentality, and the visualization through combining an assessment and an experience, like a tour guide to a certain extent, of the clientele understanding that from where they are now to where they want to be, and the bridge that goes from one side to the other is what you're offering them. And at the same time, for the journey across the bridge, they need the tools to get there, to take the shot, to play the game. And the tools are basically what your offering is. The tools are what your offering is. You basically are the pro shop inside of that ice rink. Basically, in this analogy, you are the pro shop inside of that ice rink. You control the ice rink. You control the amount of times that they can sign up to go on the ice rink. They have to get all the equipment through you. They have to get all from soup to nuts, the items and the ideations to be able to fulfill the process through you and your pro shop in this example, because they're in your ice hockey rink in this example, and you want them to get the visualization, the connection with you, the ideation that your ice rink is the best, and the collaboration through the mentality and the mindset that there's the potential to win the game if you connect with your specific ice rink for the specific reasons that ideally you want to paint the depiction of and picture and depiction of at the same time through an experience, and then ultimately and conclusively with an assessment. So that one of the very last things that you're asking them is, are you ready to take the keys to this car? Are you ready? That's like the last thing that you're asking them. You're holding and you're waving the keys in front of their face to the car for their future or for their potential future. And this is the product. This is the product for your prospects that you're initially, it's like a pre-product. You're pre-selling, trying to pre-sell, and then the actual core product is behind that. It's once they've joined the community to be able to understand the ideation that they're ready to begin with. And once they've gathered that trust and they've gotten that familiarity with you, and they've already taken a walk and they've taken a tour with you and they've gone that far, the next step to be able to move slightly and to slide into the core product is the next seamless transition. But basically putting the ball into their court to get them from where they are now to where they want to be, and then concluding the tour with, are you ready? Like it's a journey, and they need to gear up for the journey to be able to get to where they want to be and have the patience, the mindset, the visualization that they just encountered through the tour to be able to get to the other side and be able to put in the work and be able to follow through and be able to use the tools that you have to offer to get them functionally and fundamentally across the bridge through the methodology to reach the greener grass, if you will, just like in the Mighty Ducks movie, because there's a legal company that sponsored the kids that did not have the resources to get onto the ice, and like Wayne Gretzky, they were able to take some shots and they scored some goals. So you want to be able to get them psyched up to play the game to begin with, because the game in of itself is the core product. The core product. That's basically all for now. Thanks again, Dinky Tech, Change for Games, and Change for Game Studios. And like always, let's remember to try every day in this world, to try to push for world peace. Let's push for world peace. Let us push for world peace. Every single day, let us push for world peace. And let us also remember to clear all the animal shelters. Let us also remember to clear all the animal shelters in the world, because we can foster all the shelter animals in the world, we can adopt all the shelter animals in the world, and we can also hire we can hire all the shelter animals in the world to be throughout our communities. We can hire the shelter animals throughout our communities to be healers. We can hire the shelter animals as healers to be able to help humanity as therapy, as therapeutic animals to enhance humanity so that we can harmonize throughout humanity and be able to work better collectively among every single country and every single human to harmonize through energy, through the therapy, from clearing all the animal shelters and hiring the animals throughout our communities, because they work for free anyways. So we may as well leverage clearing the animal shelters so that they don't have to be pushed aside in society and treated negatively in society. And let's push for world peace and clear the animal shelters. Let's push for world peace, push for world peace, push for world peace, and let's clear the animal shelters, clear the animal shelters. And that's all for now. Thanks again, Tiki Tech and Change for Game Studios. Bye. Peace. Bye. 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 Bye.